Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varajari Yashodanandana Rajajana Anjana 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 Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Govinda Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Govinda Hari Gopijana Balabha Jaya Giri Varajari Jaya Giri Varajari Gopijana Balabha Jaya Giri Varajari Jaya Giri Varajari Yashodanandana Rajajana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Purya Bihari Oh Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Oh Krishna Krishna Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Prabhupada. Raya, Asto, Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha Ki, Sri Sri Nitai Patita Pavana Gaur Ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Gaur Premanandi, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna. Good morning, one and all. Who here was in yesterday's kirtan up until 10 o'clock and beyond? Okay. And who here is reaping the result of such glorious activity in all different ways? The best way is increase our remembrance, absorption, and desire to attain the lotus feet of Radha, Madhava, Kunja Bihari, Gopi Janavallabha, Giri Varadari. That's right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatito Jayamutiraye Nasta Praeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavate Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter. We have the bookmark here. Someone can help me. What's the chapter? Dhruva Maharaj returns home. Chapter 9, verse number 25. Okay, so we'll say each word together, then we'll chant, and we'll say, I'll say, and then you'll say each line, and then we'll chant 3 times back and forth, and then anyone who likes can take the opportunity. Tata Danta Asi Matstanam Sarvaloka Namakritam Parishtat Vishabhya Tam Yata Na Avartate Gata Tato Gantasi Matstanam Sarva Loka Namaskritam Paristad Rishabhyastvam Yato Navartate Gata Tato Gantasi Matstanam Sarva Loka Namaskritam Ashristad Rishabhyastvam Tona Bhartate Gata Tito Gantasi Matstanam Sarva Loka Namaskritam Ashristad Rishabhyastvam Yato Navartate Gata. Please chant. Okay. Tata, thereafter. Kanta Asi. You will go. Matstanam, in my abode. Sarvaloka, by all planetary systems. Namakritam, offered obeisances. Paristat, situated higher. Rishabhya, then the planetary systems of the rishis. Tam, you. Yata, where from. Na, never. Avartate, will come back. Kata, having gone there. Personality of Godhead continued. My dear Dhruva. No, I'll say the whole thing and then, well, we say it once. Okay. The personality of Godhead continued. Everyone. My dear Dhruva. After your material life in this body, you will go to my planet, which is always offered obeisances by the residents of all other planetary systems. It is situated above the planets of the 7 rishis. Having gone there, you will never have to come back again to this material world. Personality of Godhead continued. My dear Dhruva, after your material life in this body, you will go to my planet, which is always offered obeisances by the residents of all other planetary systems. It is situated above the planets of the 7 rishis, and having gone there, you will never have to come back again to this material world. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, the word Navartate is very significant. The Lord says, quote, you will not come back to this material world, for you will reach the Matstanam, my abode, unquote. Therefore, Dhruvaloka, or the pole star, is the abode of Lord Vishnu within this material world. Upon it, there is an ocean of milk, and within that ocean, there is an island known as Svetadweep. It is clearly indicated that this planet is situated above the 7 planetary systems of the rishis, and because this planet is Vishnu Loka, it is worshipped by all other planetary systems. It may be questioned here, what will happen to the planet known as Dhruvaloka at the time of the dissolution of this universe? The answer is simple. Dhruvaloka remains. like other Vaikuntha lokas beyond this universe. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has commented in this connection that the very word Navartate indicates that this planet is eternal. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Dhyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Panakamalam Shri Guru and Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanditam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vidamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bando Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Sutta Dapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamali Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhye Vajapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Kato Gantasi Matsdanam Sarvaloka Namaskritam Basristad Rishabhyastvam Yato Navartate Gita. The personality of God had continued, my dear Dhruva. After your material life in this body, you will go to my planet, which is always offered obeisances by the residents of all other planetary systems. It is situated above the planets of the seven rishis, and having gone there, you will never come back again to this material world. So the boy Dhruva, only 5 years old, given the blessing and instruction by Narada Muni to go to the forest. Earlier, that forest was described as the forest of Vrindavan, in particular Madhuvan, and the place of Dhruvatila, where Dhruva performed his austerities, is still there to be visited. His glorious mother, Sunita, advised him to seek out the darshan of the personality of Godhead to solve and to mitigate his great sorrow and distress, which was he wanted vengeance against his stepmother Suruchi for so much. We could say here's an example of emotional child abuse in the. It's interesting to note now the personality of Godhead is appearing, and in this verse in particular, such a blessing. This is a universal encouragement for all aspiring devotees like ourselves. We are trying to achieve the ultimate goal of life, which is that of pure devotional service, which qualifies us to go back home, back to Godhead. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, only by devotional service can I be understood as I am. And only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding, going beyond the veil. I reserve the right of not being exposed to anyone and everyone. Curtain of Yogamaya, the deluding energy, covers me from the non-devotees who know me not to be unborn and infallible. The symptom of a pure devotee is that they know that they're not their temporary material body. You spend your days and nights uselessly, why don't you worship the Lord of the heart while you have this opportunity? Udila Aruna Gorang, like that, right? Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. Or that only the devotees can know that they're not their body. People are mad after getting equality based on race, gender, or their idea of what is their gender. What is a woman? Let's try to define it. Well, gee whiz. People are so confused. Actually, there's a nice, I can say from my practical experience that the mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya is so great. We were in Washington Square Park recently, and this huge transgender rally came rocking and rolling into the park, and they were like upset, they were angry, and we want our rights, and there we are. We had a pretty strong kirtan going, and somehow or another there weren't any other sound producing entities, bands. There were other types of things, clandestine art tables selling drugs under the table. But those people had no problem with us. They liked us. You know, they liked the chanting. So that's to their great benefit. So such a blessing and benediction is being offered by the Lord. But at the end of the blessings, Dhruva Maharaj, he felt unhappy within himself because he had approached the Lord for such a insignificant thing compared to the glory of pure devotional service, Krishna's direct darshan, Krishna's direct love, which makes all things so wonderful. Today is Easter Sunday, and so many people all over the world, their bhakti is being expressed in the appreciation of the great sacrifice of Jesus Christ. There's a very beautiful verse in the 8th canto where Lord Shiva drinks the ocean of poison to save all the living entities from the halahata poison, which was spreading rapidly due to the churning of the ocean of milk, the force, the friction. So it is said that great saintly persons almost always accept voluntary suffering for the sake of the upliftment of the fallen conditioned souls. Such activity constitutes the highest form of worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who lives in everyone's heart. So I have approached you who are like a great diamond, just wanting an insignificant particle of broken glass, right? You go into Tiffany's and is this a diamond? This is just some imitation glass. Get out of here, you know. But Krishna is so very kind that even though we have different desires, whether one has all material desires, desires of liberation, whatever, one must approach the personality of Godhead. Krishna will work it out. And that is especially demonstrated by the Kali Yuga avatar, Patita Pavana Nitai Gaur, because they are distributing. Krishna is distributing himself. Radha and Krishna, Bolo, Kara, Premadana, Harinam, Sankirtan. The holy name is the most merciful incarnation of Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya, not considering offenses, and the Kali Yuga in general, you actually have to perform the bad activity to get the reaction. Thinking it in the mind is if it was nothing. There's no reaction. Of course, we have to control the mind because thinking leads to feeling, leads to willing, leads to doing. So we as devotees have such a wonderful opportunity because 24 hours a day, moment to moment, we have the choice to engage in devotional service based on our knowledge and realization. And as the time of our life goes by, very practical experience. Coming to the point where the only choice that we will make is to do some form of devotional service. Prabhupada speaking at, actually, he was in the Upper West Side of New York. There are a few classes that have been recorded, and Prabhupada, he lived from October, late October, the third week of October in 1965, all the way till this time of year, mid-April 1966, when he ultimately went down to the Bowery, where he was there for 2.5 months, taking up residence at the place where the International Society for Krishna Consciousness was formally began and incorporated on the 30th of June, 1966. That here I am, I'm always engaged in devotional service, sometimes reading, sometimes writing, sometimes I go shopping, and sometimes I'm making prashadam. And when I'm tired, I take some rest. It seem like normal, regular activities, but because it's fully for Krishna, it's complete devotional service. And Prabhupada, he was telling to one sympathetic Upper West Side lady that here I am in New York City, the world's greatest city, but my heart is always hankering after that my Vrindavan, that sacred place. I will be very happy to return to my Vrindavan, but I've come here by duty to my spiritual master because I have some message for your people. Therefore, I'm duty bound despite all my inconveniences. And it is in this place, the Upper West Side of New York, 100 West 72nd Street to be exact, that Prabhupada completed the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita as it is, which Prabhupada credited for exploding the Krishna consciousness movement. He writes in the preface, there are 400, at this time of the writing of Bhagavad Gita in the 1960s, over 400 translations, English translations of Bhagavad Gita, but not one made a devotee. But since we have presented Bhagavad Gita as it is, hundreds and thousands of people are coming forward to become devotees of Krishna. On a side note, the Prabhupada bhajans, we all can find them and put them on our phone or on our iPod or device, and we can hear. So Prabhupada's solitary bhajans, particularly the prayers to Queen Kunti and Shukadeva Goswami's invocation prayers to the Srimad Bhagavatam, which would be the fourth chapter of the second canto, are recorded there. Very special. So whatever we do for Krishna now within this present life, and we should be encouraged in that way, is very, very glorious. Kolavechar Sridhar, who was very, very poor, he was just eking out his existence with a small business selling banana leaves, making it into organic cutlery, plates and leaf cups. Anyone who's gone to Mayapur, a place called Rajpur, where the Jagannath temple is, there is a shrine, a memorial built by on the order of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, commemorating the place where Kolavechar Sridhar lived. So there's a description by Vrindavan Das Thakur in the Chaitanya Bhagavat Just see the glory of Kolavechar Shridhar. Lord, he is one of the 12 coward boys. I believe he's Sridham or Subal. Somebody who's more exact know where they can correct me and tell who he is. Lord and Krishna Lila. And Lord Chaitanya had such a deep and intimate, loving relationship with him, despite his externally perceived material impoverished situation. And Vrindavan Das Thakur says, so great is Kolavechar Shridhar that the topmost opulently situated demigods, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, they shed tears upon seeing his greatness. One devotee seeing Prabhupada interact with personalities coming to take his darshan and hear from him in his quarters in Vrindavan, that like ordinary farmers and villagers would come in, and Prabhupada would become so very friendly and intimate, and just like, just like we talk with our intimate friends, lounging, and for a long, long time. And Prabhupada and his disciples present watching this after they left, Prabhupada said, you have to be very, very careful. You don't know who these people are.
Wow. Wow.
We have the story of King Ranti Dev breaking his fast, and that different personalities came, like some type of poor person with a pack of dogs. And we're very hungry, O king. Please give us something to eat. And Ranti Dev is giving, and he's expressing his happiness in mitigating the suffering of others. And it's revealed there in the Bhagavatam that they were Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva coming in the guise of these personalities to not just test the king, but to show his greatness. So we are assured, because we're engaged in Krishna consciousness and we're following in the authorized disciplic succession coming from Lord Chaitanya, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada was empowered to spread actual pure devotional service all over the world and the universe, that we have no problem. Srila Prabhupada spoke at great length, voluminously, on the prayers and teachings of Prahlad Maharaj. My dear Lord Nrsingadev, for me, I have no personal problem because I can simply chant your holy name and enter into a trance of ecstasy. Trance of ecstasy means I can feel the love and reciprocation with my beloved Lord. I am confident of his protection. My dear Prahlad, by whose strength are you relying upon to overcome my authority to rule you? My dear Father, the source of my strength is also the source of your strength. Give up your envious mentality and worship the Supreme Personality of God. Prahlad Maharaj didn't move 1 inch from his position. You've always spoken of a God that's all pervasive, that's more powerful than me. I want to see your God come to protect you. Now I'm going to sever your head from your body. I want to see your God come to protect you. Then from within the pillar came a fearful sound. Oh, my dear Yudhishthir, Narada Muni is narrating the story. That sound appeared to crack the covering of the universe. When all the demigods heard it, they thought, oh no, the time of dissolution, all our planets will be destroyed. Then the form of Lord Nrsingadev appeared from the pillar, and Hiranyakashipu thought he inwardly understood that this form of the Lord is certainly meant for my death. And even when it's all said and done, Prahlad Maharaj said, I offer you a benediction. And he wouldn't take a benediction, but ultimately he said, please have mercy on my father. And if you look at the relationship between father and son, was there anything of any, well, maybe at the very beginning, my dear son, what is the best thing you learned from your teachers? And but maybe a little before that, it was just like ordinary material relationship. But then when Prahlad Maharaj revealed that he's a devotee, then everything went south. Jesus is on the cross, and even in the presence of his persecutors, forgive them, Lord, they know not what they do. He's praying for them. So the devotee is very, very, very confident in the Lord's protection. And by that, he is completely free and peaceful in mind to engage in devotional service, to help spread Krishna consciousness by their practical example, by their association, by quality and by quantity. We were reading previously in the conclusion of the Daksha Yagna, the sacrifice performed by Daksha. Is one glorification of Lord Vishnu. The Brahmin said, dear Lord, you are sacrifice personified, you are the offering of clarified butter, you are the fire, you are the chanting of Vedic hymns by which sacrifice is conducted, you are the fuel, you are the flame, you are the kusha grants, you are the sacrificial pots, you are the priests, form the yagna, demigods. Everything that is sacrificed is you and your energy. The Brahmin statement, he is everything. It is confirmed herein that the performance of Sankirtan Yagna in this age is as good as all other yagnas in other ages. If one performs the Sankirtan Yagna by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There is no need to arrange elaborate paraphernalia for the prescribed sacrificial ceremonies recommended in the Vedas. If we chant the holy names, Hare and Krishna, Hare means the energy of Krishna, and Krishna is the Vishnu Tattva. Combined together, they are everything. In this age, persons are harassed by the influence of Kali Yuga and cannot arrange for all the requisite paraphernalia for performing sacrifice as recommended in the Vedas. But if one simply chants Hare Krishna, it is to be understood that he is performing all kinds of yagna because there is nothing within our vision except Hare, the energy of Krishna and Krishna. There is no difference between Krishna and his energies. Thus, since everything is a manifestation of his energy, it is to be understood that everything is Krishna. One simply has to accept everything in Krishna consciousness, and he is a liberated person. One should not misunderstand that because everything is Krishna, Krishna has no personal identity. Oh, spiritual master, oh, servant of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, you are very dear to Lord Krishna because you are kindly preaching the message of Lord Sri Chaitanya Dev, Chintya Abheda Beda Tattva, and are delivering these Western countries, which now includes India, because they're following the Western countries. I lived in Vrindavan for 12 years and had been visiting since 15 years prior, since 1984. And I was all the devotees staying in Vrindavan were quite amazed, perplexed, alarmed when they started seeing Indian women, especially young women, wearing pants and dressing like Western women. That started around the year 2000. Now it's very commonplace and almost to the point where they have to have signs, saying dress code and rules and regulations, whereas 25 or more years ago, the culture was so much more. You are very kindly delivering these Western countries, which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. Under the conception that I am this body and this body is me, and trying to remain handsome and pretty and youthful and cool and chic and avant-garde and all these things. This is an aspect of impersonalism, because ultimately impersonalism is based upon not understanding the supreme person and your personal relationship with that supreme person. In other words, we have to renovate our Krishna Sambandha. The devotee must have a relationship with Radha, Madan Mohan, or the worshipful deities of Sambandha Tattva is essential, because Madan Mohan will nullify our material desires. Who is Madan Mohan? He is the attractor of millions and millions of cupids. Just one cupid is enough to bewilder everyone in the material world. So that Madan Mohan is the attractor of countless cupids. He is everything. Krishna, one should not misunderstand it, because everything is Krishna. Krishna has no personal identity. Krishna is so full, and in spite of keeping himself separate from everything by his energy, he is everything. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter. He is spread throughout the creation as everything, but still he is not everything. This philosophy, recommended by Lord Chaitanya, that he is simultaneously one with and different. So I'm going to go just a couple of minutes longer. There's a very wonderful verse, which is in harmonious tandem here with what we were saying. And this is the Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, verse number 24. And you can remember it by going store 424, something like that. And this today is Easter Sunday. And on this day, 52 years ago, and in his own words, one insignificant Indra Das moved into the temple in Washington, D.C., formally and officially joining the Krishna consciousness movement. And this, in particular, is Indra Prabhu's favorite, one of his favorite Bhagavad Gita verses. And I would say, from my experience, one that he spoke from more. The other one was Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me. Being fully absorbed in me, you will come to me. The bluish boy with peacock feather in his hair. So, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir, Brahmanam Brahmana Uttam, Brahmayavatena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Purport: how activities in Krishna consciousness can lead one ultimately to the spiritual goal is described here. There are various activities in Krishna consciousness, and all of them will be described in the following verses. But for the present, just the principle of Krishna consciousness is described. A conditioned soul entangled in material contamination is sure to act in the material atmosphere, and yet he has to get out of such an environment. The process by which the conditioned soul can get out of the material atmosphere is Krishna consciousness. For example, a patient who is suffering from a disorder of the bowels due to overindulgence in milk products is cured by another milk product, namely yogurt. The materially absorbed conditioned soul can be cured by Krishna consciousness, as set forth here in the Gita. This process is generally known as yagna, or activities, sacrifices, simply meant for the satisfaction of Vishnu or Krishna. The more the activities in the material world are performed in Krishna consciousness or for Vishnu only, the more the atmosphere becomes spiritualized by complete absorption. The word Brahman, means spiritual. The Lord is spiritual, and the rays of his transcendental body are called Brahma Jyoti, the spiritual effulgence. Everything that exists is situated in that Brahma Jyoti, but when the Jyoti is covered by illusion, Maya, or sense gratification, it is called material. This material veil can be removed at once by Krishna consciousness. Thus, the offering for the sake of Krishna consciousness, the consuming agent of such an offering or contribution, the process of consumption, the contributor, and the results are all combined together, Brahman, or the absolute truth. The absolute truth covered by Maya is called matter. Matter dovetailed to the cause of the absolute truth regains its spiritual quality. Krishna consciousness is the process of converting the illusory consciousness into Brahman, or the Supreme. When the mind is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, it is said to be in samadhi or trance. Anything done in such transcendental consciousness is called yagna, or sacrifice for the absolute. In that condition of spiritual consciousness, the contributor, the contribution, the consumption, the performance or leader of the performance, and the result or ultimate gain, everything becomes one in the absolute, the supreme Brahman. That is the method of Krishna consciousness. The verse once again. Titogantasi matstanam sarvaloka namaskritam pasritad rishabhyastvam yato navartate gata. The personality of God had continued. My dear Dhruva, after your material life in this body, you will go to my planet, which is always offered obeisances by the residents of all other planetary systems. It is situated above the planets of the seven rishis, and having gone there, you will never come back again to this material world. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Or did we run out of time?
Thank you so much.
The thing is blocking your face. I can't see you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for
Yeah.
nice class and also the last 2 days. We were discussing the other day, we were reading the Guru chapter and just some technical understanding of this planet itself stays where it is, visible to material, eyes, while the resolution happens, or like the other Vaikuntha planets like Ayodhya and Dwarka, which is manifested here on the Earth planet from Guru spiritual world. Is there any further understanding or explanation?
You'll have to find someone more scholarly qualified than myself. But here, once again, in the purport, it may be questioned here, what will happen to the planet known as Dhruva at the time of dissolution of this universe? The answer is simple. Dhruva remains, like other Vaikuntha Lokas, beyond this universe. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti has commented in this connection that the very word Navartate indicates that this planet is eternal.
Thank you. The last time the discussion was there is another dual planet in the spiritual world, and this is just the representation or manifestation of that planet here. But here the purport is very clear. The same one remains, right? Nothing happens to it, and it just remains there to the resolution. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada mentions in a very important verse in Bhagavad Gita Just now we're talking about samadhi absorption is supreme. So in that verse that Antakali Simamyam Swarupakaliyam, Prabhupada says that the best way to train the mind to always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna is by chanting of the holy name.
Yeah.
So my question is that of different types of remembrance, one of the types of remembrance is also remembering chanting the holy name, remembering the holy name. So, when one is not directly involved in Krishna conscious activities and one does activities which are eating, sleeping, or even some other services, what is the way? Because Prabhupada says so many times that if one chants constantly 24 hours a day, then the mind will always be in a pure condition. So, in order to facilitate that, can you give any shed light on that?
Prabhupada's statement, whatever I'm doing is for Krishna. So, in answer to your question, I would say that you have to get experience. What, the thing went off? Did I do something by moving this? Okay, that means that.
I turned it off. That should be
You got a very fragile ecosystem, right? You know, protect Central Park's elm trees. Stay on the path, right? Um, you're never outside of Krishna. We're eating, we're not eating, we're honoring the Lord's prasadam. There's a writing, I think it's by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It's called Swapna Vilash Amrita. Swapna Vilas Amrita. What it is Radharani is having a dream and she sees that Lord Chaitanya, except that Krishna has turned golden like her and is dancing. And when she's gets to question Krishna, who is this? What is this? And Krishna reveals to her that I will become Lord Chaitanya and I will accept your mood and complexion. And in this way, I will benedict the poor souls of the fallen age of Kali Yuga. And Radharani is very joyous to hear this. It's a nice book. So anyway, so Prabhupada you're asking how to do this. Prabhupada said we should, before we take rest, we should read Krishna book. And if you read Krishna book before you take rest, then you'll dream about Krishna. Lord Brahma is describing scheduled incarnations to Narada Muni upon being questioned. I think this is the 8th chapter of the 2nd canto. To the residents, is there a 2nd canto there? I'll just say it from memory, best I can. To the residents of Vrindavan who were engaged in hard work during the daytime and sound sleep at night, the Lord awarded the highest position in the spiritual world to them. And Prabhupada is describing that they're just ordinary people. They're engaged in farming, taking care of cows. You know, they were working hard during the daytime. And because when you work very hard and, you know, you really put out in the daytime, what will be the result? You will sleep very soundly at night. But because all of their activities were centered on Krishna consciousness, what is Krishna consciousness? Pleasing Krishna. They were on the highest plane of spiritual thought. Krishna's not Jnani Vatsala. He's not Yogi Vatsala. He's not, you know, scholar Vatsala, you know, politician Vatsala. He's dear to the Bhakta. And Krishna He doesn't, his preferred life is to live in the country, in farming, taking care of cows, and living a natural life. When the residents of Vrindavan visited Krishna at Kurukshetra, they hadn't seen him for such a long time, but not only was it not enough, but it was kind of like a double entendre. They were like, here you are as a royal prince, and it's like this big, big political apparatus and all of these chariots and there's warriors and intrigue and diplomacy. And what is the purport of our Jagannath Rath Yatra, the primary festival that Srila Prabhupada gave to enact all over the world? The emotional love of the devotee to bring Krishna back to Vrindavan, that beautiful place. Some thoughts off the top of my head. I hope that's good. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to you too.
Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada said that we should do chanting in a way such that when death comes, we should be naturally chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Not like the parrot repeats whatever we say, but when death comes, it says eh something. But how to develop that naturally chant one automatic chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, being on Mahamantra when the
Think of who is or who are the most close people in your life. Hopefully you have some anyway. Anyway, just bear with me. Here's the example is easy. You don't have to say your mother, your father, your husband, your son, your daughter. You don't have to say whatever their name is. My dear mother, shouting at the top of your lungs, mother, It's like, mother, and the mother will just immediately, because the relationship is so, it's very much evolved and deep, and it's been, you don't have to shout and scream and, do anything artificial. It's already there. So this is what our life is given to us for, that we can, what is it? Just see these cowherd boys, Krita Punya Punja. They have accumulated heaps and heaps of transcendental pious activities. That means bhakti. They've, devotional service. We're doing Harinam, we're distributing books, or we're at some type of, we have a prasadam table. For a lot of these people, that might be the only chance in their entire life to have the opportunity to engage in Krishna consciousness. The devotees of the Lord are more kind than the Lord because they know the inner purpose of the Lord. Therefore, they take all types of risks. Also, the temple president to the temple managers, they're taking a risk. Like in New York City, it's like such an expensive place. Can we pay for this? We have our temple president, Hansarupa. He's like always reminding us, it costs $50,000 a month to run this place, So Akshaya Tritiya is coming. They're opening up the Kadamba Cafe, which is, anyone who's been to the Brooklyn Temple, which is the street side space, which was formerly like the shoe room or the foyer where you come into the temple. And it's right there, and they build all of these, 30, 55-story, apartment complexes. It's being flooded with all types of lack of a better word. There must be a new word for the current time. Yuppies, you know, and where we live, there's no restaurants. There's no place to eat. So here it is, you know. So everyone pray that on Akshaya Tritiya is a very good day to start an enterprise and become successful, you know. That could be so all types of risks in approaching ignorant men to engage them in the acts of Krishna consciousness were absolutely necessary for the human being. You know, the verse is that the ignorant perform activities and material activities and become attached. The wise should not unsettle them because of the performer's lack of knowledge, but the devotees of the Lord are more kind than the Lord, they know the purpose of the Lord, etc. So we have the opportunity, moment to moment, to engage in acts of Krishna consciousness and accumulate heaps and heaps of transcendental pious activities, which is our purchase price. When we like, you know, are we buying Krishna? Okay, Krishna, here we go to Tiffany's, we got the diamond here, it costs. So I got enough money. Krishna, we're not buying Krishna, you know. It's like Prabhupada has warned us about, you know, getting too much involved in material, you know, rich people. Like Srila Bhakti Siddhanta said, "Do you think you have purchased me for your however many rupees per month donation?" Saintly person is not obligated, you know. Okay, I give you a lot of money. You know, I'm buying a guru, you know, Megillah Gorilla. How much is that Megillah? How much is that gorilla in the window? It was a like Flintstones, a cartoon from the 1960s. Anyway, so, but we show Krishna that we want to have a loving relationship with him. Prabhupada said, don't be surprised who leaves, be surprised who stays. If you become conscious of me, you will cross over all the obstacles of conditional life by my grace. Prabhupada said, give this one life to Krishna, and you will not be disappointed in the result. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, despite what anyone or everyone else does or doesn't do. That's a fact. Anything else? Everyone's good? We're not going too late over time, making a problem? Huh? I can't hear you. Kirtan, what about taking Prashadam? Okay. Someone?
Maybe I can ask personally because they have to take question.
Okay, we can maybe we make this the last one then. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, you answered it partially already. As Dhruva Maharaj is
Speak a little more slow. The ambience here, it's just kind of like bouncing here and there. It's like, I'm just trying to.
So Dhruva Maharaj is very classical example.
Classical example.
For determination.
Determination.
So I just wanted to know from your own example and your Harinam crew that last 10 years, what decade in the snow you are doing Harinam.
Well, yeah, I missed you. The last, how many?
Entire decade you are doing Harinam at the subway of New York.
Uh-huh.
So I want to know that, I want to know that what is that keeping you enthusiastic, because it takes one project. Even I attended your Harinam and in the cold season, and I was thinking I should not go in New York. I was there. So what is that, is that such thoughts come that I should not go and still you overcome it? So how you overcome it? Such a thing, such a negativity.
And Prabhupada called the nectar of devotion, the mellow, from Rupa Goswami's Padyavali, it's the mellow taste that comes from devotional service. Why do we, people, say, we get so, why are you doing this? Why are you doing, why are you doing what you're doing? And my answer to that, well, why are you doing what you're doing? And if they stammer, and I say, well, I hope you're doing what you're doing because you like doing what you're doing. Yeah, I'm doing what I'm doing because I like doing what I'm doing. And then if you don't like doing what you're doing, then maybe you should ask yourself, why am I doing it? Maybe you should do something else. So once you make up your mind that, and I mean, you hear it from the acharyas, the scriptures, other devotees, that Krishna consciousness is the best thing. It's the greatest thing. So we're greedy. We transfer our nartam. We, instead of being greedy for material and material desires, become greedy for Krishna consciousness. This is the best thing. So it's like a beautiful paradox. It's the greatest thing, but the devotee doesn't think he's great. I have a $75 million, penthouse apartment in the Steinway Tower on 6th Avenue in Central Park South. It's a really incredible building. Look it up. It's like, wow, So that means because I have the greatest, penthouse apartment, that means I'm the greatest. Just who could argue? You set up a table, prove me wrong, But a devotee, there's so many beautiful opposites in Krishna consciousness. Anyway, to answer your question simply, this is the best thing. So just go for it. Your mind is made up, go for it. And whatever, it's heat, cold. I joined the Bhakta program, and 26-year-old Naranjana Das Brahmachari, now of course the very glorious and praiseworthy His Holiness Naranjana Swami, the very first Bhagavad Gita verse that he taught me or instructed me to memorize was Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Shitoshna Shukatukada Agama Payano Nityastam Tikstashvabarta. The non-permanent appearance of happiness and stress, heat and cold, it's due to sense perception in the body. These things come and go like the heat and cold of winter and summer seasons. So whatever it is, whatever's going on, I'm doing it. Doesn't matter. And Lord Chaitanya, and in particular, we all have that opportunity, worshiping Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha, association with devotees, in the more favorable time of year that we're coming into, spring and summer. Of seasons, I am flower bearing spring, and then like here we're in the northern, like in New York, outside is from, it's been pretty cold winter this time of year until like Halloween, the beginning of then like 5 months where, of course, we have the subway, we stay warm down there relatively. I kind of like the winter season because, the people are not as puffed up as they are above ground, and it's more like regular kind of working class people, and we meet some very, very, very sweet. Prabhupada said there are many, many sincere candidates out there waiting to receive the message, and just the happiness of having 50,000 people walk by us on a daily basis is just tremendous. Like Yugal Kishore, he had to pry me with a crowbar to get me to come here, and I'm very reluctant to leave New York City to do anything else. I have no aspiration to whatever, because I just have so much fun there. It's just good, clean sport. But I mean, that's me. I'm born in New York. I can take it. The more crazy it gets, the more enlivened I get. That fighting spirit. Just like yesterday was 84 degrees over there, and this one very nice young man. He lives in Coney Island, Brighton Beach, and he always goes out and saves the spot. So we knew that it was going to be really packed up in there in the circle around the fountain. So he got there, at 10:45 to reserve the spot. And my glorious godbrother, Krishna Kripadas, I don't know, does anyone know him? He's like, anyway. So he's like passing through for like 5 days on his way to Europe. And he's always into like an extra yagna. So the two of them went out at that time and reserved the spot, like Sir Edmund Hillary conquering Mount Edward. I hereby claim this land for Queen Radharani. Back down there, and all the, illegal others and this and that, and whatever, they thought we got this spot, that's it. And then everybody else trickled in, and it was a glorious day, and it was wonderful. And I felt very happy, that if I hadn't pushed that and then like stressed that, then we would have been in the doghouse that yesterday. So, all right. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha ki jai, and of course, Shri Shri Radha Kunja Bihari ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Great.